Hello and welcome to the Knit Sip Happy podcast. My name is Nancy and I'm here to sip a little wine and talk to you about my knitting projects today and what we've been up to. First things first, you can find all of the links and contact information down below, but I am Wheels Wife on Ravelry and Instagram. My email address will be linked below and I will put all of the links for the projects that I talk about down below as well. If I miss anything, please reach out. I am drinking a Cabernet Merlot today. I'm just looking out the window. The red wines have come out. I may have been a little premature on that. It is rainy and cloudy and very gloomy today, but it is also quite muggy. It is a little warm and sticky. So I may be breaking out the fan a little later if I start to flash over, so bear with me. I am wearing my Edie Tee today. I showed this, I think, on episode 1 or 2 as a new finished object. This has gotten a lot of wear this summer. It's this nice loose linen cotton blend and it just wears beautifully and washes really well also. So, as I stare off into the distance trying to get my brain to catch up with my mouth. Sorry about that. We have had an interesting few weeks since I saw you last. We ended up making an unexpected trip to Newfoundland, which is an island further east. It's off the coast of the east coast of Canada, and where my husband's family is from. We had a bereavement in his family unexpectedly, and we had to travel over. I drove over with him. We drive to the ferry, take the ferry, and then drive on to my in-laws' place. So we did that about a week and a half ago, I guess. And then I spent a few days there to spend some time with family and supporting them through this. And then I had to come home. We have staff out on vacation and I needed to cover. So I had to accelerate my knitting progress. You had seen on the last episode, if you watched, I had knit a pair of slipper socks for my mother-in-law, which I do every year. I knit her a few pairs just to keep her stocked up. Well, I had to ramp up my production where I was going to be over there and my husband was going to be there, and just to be able to gift them to her while we were there. So all of my finished objects are not here. I don't even have the yarn or the yarn bags to show you. I do have pictures and I'll insert pictures as we talk, but I knit them while I was there and I left them there. So my husband is bringing home the bags with the leftovers. I had to fly and had limited luggage capacity, so he has got all the leftovers, and but I will have pictures as we talk about them as we go through. I also took a little bit of footage at the end. There'll be different pictures and videos from things that have happened over the last couple weeks, including some beautiful scenery from Newfoundland when we were traveling there and at my sister-in-law's house where we stay. Okay, is that all of the preamble? I think it might be. I need to slow down. I haven't spoken to a lot of people. My husband has been away. I flew home on Monday. Today is the following Thursday, so I've been... No, it's not. It's Tuesday. I've been on my own for just over a week. I have worked, but there's been nobody at home in the evenings to talk to, and I haven't spoken to another person yet today either. So if I'm a little croaky or a little blah, 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 I haven't talked to anybody yet today, so bear with me. And the wine may not help with the blabbiness. Warning. Okay. So I'm going to talk about the finished objects I don't have. So I had shown you the Joe's Perfect Slipper Socks that I'd done for my mother-in-law in the Felici worsted in that fun green self-striping colorway. I ended up knitting 3 pairs of slippers. I knit 2 more pairs of those slipper socks while I was in Newfoundland. I had knit one originally for me because I loved it so much. One of my sister-in-law has the same size feet as me, so I gifted those to her. And then once I did that, I realized I had enough to squeak out a 3rd pair. My other sister-in-law has a slightly smaller feet. So I ended up knitting 3 pairs of the Perfect Slipper Socks out of 2 skeins of the Felici worsted. I don't think I matched the stripes. No, I didn't match the stripes. So I just kind of went rogue. They were sisters, not twins. And they were very well received. They're a fun knit. They're a fast knit because they're a DK to worsted. And I have a pair on the needles. I'll show you in a minute. I'll talk about it in a little bit more. And then I also knit my mother-in-law another pair while I was there, and I'll show you the before of the yarns and the after. I knit this pair holding 2 strands of fingering yarn double. I picked 2 heavy-duty sock yarns out of my stash. One was a Knit Picks Hawthorn, and one was an opal in a solid turquoise, to give me a mild look, but a very sturdy pair of slippers that hopefully she won't walk through too quickly. So that's that. So I knit three pairs of those while I was away. And then I also cast on a pair of fingering weight socks for my sister-in-law. Here's the before. I chose a really fun, colorful opal. And then I found this golden yellow regia in my stash and thought it looked great with it. It turns out it did, because here's the finished object. I knit my Booktouche Boardwalk socks for this for this yarn. I didn't do the self-striping hack on it because the stripes weren't even, so I just let the purl bump rows land where they did. The reason I did this pattern is Carol and I, my sister-in-law and I, when we visit Newfoundland at the same time, we like to go walking on this trail around a local pond, and most of it is up on a raised boardwalk with the plank slats and the vertical railings that run along each side. So it was very much in theme of what we like to do together and talk our way around the pond 1 or 2 times as we're visiting. So she loved them. They are the Wolfries Pond socks for her, and I'll link it on my Ravelry page with some pictures as well. And I have some model pictures, I do believe, as well. My husband and her, they did some model pictures, so I'd have content for the podcast. They're so sweet. Yeah, so that's finished objects. I do have a half-finished object. Surprise, surprise. It's another Joe's Perfect slipper socks. So we're sliding into whips here because that's all I had for FOs. I just popped this on a blocker. This is using some hand spun from Smith & U. It's a 80-20, sorry, merino nylon in these fun blues. I figured if I wasn't going to have the fun Felici slipper socks I'd knit for myself, I would do a pair for myself in hand spun. These are great in the summer just to slip on. My husband likes the air conditioning quite chilly, and I find even in the summer I need something on my feet, and these just slip on and off so easily. So they are knit toe up with a slip stitch kind of squishy rib panel on the front, and then with a fish lips kiss heel at the back, and then a little more of this border with just a rolled edge. So this hand spun was supposed to be fingering. It didn't quite work out that way. It's a little bit thicker. It's a 3-ply. It's a DK mostly. It's got a little bit of sporty. It's got a little sporty feel to it every now and again where it gets a little thin. But it's worked perfectly for this, and it's so fast. I knit this yesterday. I had the day off. I had a quiet day. I had nobody home. My husband is away. As I've said, there is no housework getting done. There is no cooking getting done. I'm eating out of the freezer and microwaving things. I'm knitting as much as possible because why not? We're empty nesters. I have nobody that I'm responsible for. So this is what I've been doing. I've been knitting. So that's the half-finished object. And then I instantly cast on the second one just so it was done. So I'm knitting it. There's the front magic loop, toe up with that fun marling 3-ply stripe from the hand spun. So we'll see. That'll be done. If it's not done today, it'll be done over the next couple of days. I'm going to a knit night tonight at a local brewery. It's organized by Manon from my local yarn store, La Violette, and Deborah of Yarn Indulgences. And we're going to a local craft brewery to sit and knit. Those who like to drink beer, I do not. We'll be drinking beer. You're allowed to bring in your own water and things like that. I may may put a little wine in a sippy cup, just a couple of ounces to enjoy. I'm gonna be there for hours. It's fine. I may. We'll see. Cabernet Merlot today. Love a blend. Yum. Unfortunately, the red wine may cause some overheating as we're going through this. This project, I forgot to show you, is in my Studio Brita sock bag. She is a Canadian maker in Alberta and does these amazing, super puffy quilted, it's just a one skein sock bag, and I had her personalize it for me. I ordered this for myself for Christmas a few years ago, 2018 or 2019, I can't remember. She asks you what your favorite colors are, so you can be perfectly on brand if you're doing a custom bag, which I did to get my name on it. I had mentioned it to her that it was a Christmas gift to myself, and she wrapped it beautifully. So when I took it out of the packaging, it was wrapped, and I just popped it under the tree and I opened it on Christmas morning, and it was just a lovely touch. And she's a great Canadian maker if you're looking for a project bag. She does lots of great machine free motion embroidery and quilting, and very talented lady. Let me put these down without making too much noise. There. Okay. Next is I talked to you about Ziva, the new summer tea that I was going to start. I cast on. This is being housed in this great Union Jack English themed project bag. It's a zipper. Man, it's got a lot of fluff on it. I'm not quite sure where all the fluff has come on the, I don't know if you can see that. It's full of fluff on this navy fabric. Anyway, this was a prize that I won for a knit along from, she was Comfy Red Couch, Tracy, Comfy Red Couch. She is now knitting on the float because she's moved out to British Columbia and the couch is no longer red. I can't remember which knit along this was for, but I won this great bag. I am a total Anglophile. I was born in England and lived there till I was 13. My mum is English, so I love a little bit of English drama and lots of Union Jack bits and bobs. I have a few bags with Union Jacks as I look. I gotta stop doing that. Must be time for a sip because I'm watching myself in the screen again. I hope you're enjoying some coffee or tea or wine or something alcoholic with me, depending on the time of day. I get lots of great comments telling me what you're drinking as you're knitting along with me. I love it. All right. So I cast on Ziva and I have made some great progress. So this is by Laura Ayler. I'll put a picture up in between. I am knitting this in Yarn Indulgences, Silk and Linen. There it is, Silk and Linen blend. It is a 65% silk, 39% linen. It is lovely and drapey and cool. And we've had another round of super over 30-degree weather and sunny. And it's been really nice to knit with because it's quite cool on my hands. It's not sticky and too sweaty and gross. So this is the Zing colorway. This is the third skein. I have not caked it up yet because I'm not sure I'm going to need it. I've just joined in the second cake and I've gotten quite far. I will show you. So it's a raglan, top-down raglan. I've separated for the sleeves and I'm working down the body. It's on a small cable, so I'll show you the lace in just a second. So I haven't picked up the neckband yet. I just popped in the second skein and I helical knit. So for about 3 inches here, I just put in the second skein and helical knit until I ran out of the first skein and then just kept working with the second skein. It's just a good way to join in, especially with indie dyed yarn. I didn't want to have to helical knit all the way through because it was looking really good. And I've got the nice speckling happening as I want from a hand dyed, but there's no crazy pooling or anything. Oh, speaking of pooling, Sunshine Coast, haven't touched it. With having to go away and working extra hours because I've got staff on vacation, it's just sitting in a project bag. I haven't touched it because I've not been in the mood. I am going to rip it back. I have decided that. I'm just going to rip it back and see if I can't helical knit some skeins and see if I can't break up that pooling. The other project update I should probably give you is the white lace cardigan. Also haven't touched it. Same reason. A lovely viewer sent me some seaming tape to try. I'm not going to mention your name, but thank you so much. She went to the Tatamagouche Yarn Show, which obviously I wasn't at, and sent it along with Deborah from Yarn Indulgences, who was there, who passed it along to me. How lovely. So that's the next thing. I'm going to try sewing that seaming tape in the neckline and see if that will stabilize things without being as obvious as the crochet chain, which I tried and didn't work. So that's the garment update that are living in the naughty corner. It's coming up to the end of August. I'm really not going to get much wear out of either of them at this point. So I'm probably well, I shouldn't say I'm abandoning them. The mood will strike me and I will pick them up and see what I can do with them. The mood is not now. The mood is not now. It is not here. It is not now. All right, back to Ziva. So I showed you this. And so this has this beautiful lace panel. Let me just adjust things on the needles a little bit and see if I can show this off a little better. It has this beautiful triangular lace panel that spreads out underneath the arm and just gets wider and wider. It's a really easy lace repeat and quite effective, I think. And the pattern says with this lace, when it blocks out, it's going to give it that A-line shape, which, you know, I love. So I'm hopeful for that. I didn't gauge swatch because it is practically the same gauge as My Teaser, the green t-shirt, lace t-shirt that I was wearing in the last, no, episode 2, I wore that one. It is practically the same gauge. So I just punted, and stitch gauge is great. I love the fabric. My row gauge is a little off. So I discovered that when I finished up my raglan increasing for the sleeve and was ready to separate, and I didn't quite have enough depth here. Laura's patterns have great schematics, so I had looked at the schematic for my size and I should have had however many inches. I didn't quite have that, so I did some plain knit rounds down here without any increases before I did the sleeve separation, just to make sure that I had enough depth in there so that it was comfortable, so that the fabric wasn't right up in my armpit, because nobody wants that in a summer garment. So with the row gauge being off, that's also going to mean that I'm going to have to add some extra repeats. I'm almost done the lace chart, and I should be, I think I have another 1 repeat or half a repeat to do, so maybe another 1.5 inches, and I'm going to be short length. It's only 13 inches from underarm to hem as well, so I may want to put a little more on there. So I'm going to do 1 more lace repeat than the pattern says to, and bring it to the 13 inches, put it on the try-on cords, and try it on. I'm sorry. I'm a little sweaty, a little hot flashy with the red wine. To be clear, it's not going to stop me drinking it. Yeah, so I'm going to do an extra lace repeat on there to get me the 13 inches, try it on, and see where I'm at. But I'm loving this. It has been a great knit so far, and I can't believe how little yarn I've used so far. So I have left that 3rd skein in the skein, because if I don't need it, I will take it back to Deborah of Yarn Indulgences, because this was a gift / sample, thank you for sample knitting kind of thing. If I don't need a 3rd skein, then it can go back into her inventory, and one of you lovely people can pick it up. So that is Ziva, and it's the only garment that I'm currently working on. stay tuned. There's some dream knitting coming, and I have some garment wishes and dreams happening there, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay, moving on. Let's do a sock. So I have quite a few people that I love to knit Christmas socks, cowls, items for. I love to knit. I knit pretty quickly. I have lots of time to knit. I'm very lucky in that with my work schedule. And I'm looking at my Christmas list now thinking, who do I need to get these going for? I have certain specialty sizes that won't fit the tubes that I have coming. So this is going to be a 56. This is a 56 stitch sock. But first, I'm trying to be good and show you my project bags. This is my So Sweet Violet Liberty Rainbow bag that I picked up in the D-stash from Nora George Yarns. Love it. Just makes me smile. And we had talked about sock blanks last episode, and thank you for all your comments about sock blanks and whether you had tried them or not. Hopefully I've encouraged you to try one if you ever see one in the wild. This is a unique product that I picked up from Knit Picks. This was a limited release. It's called a sock reel, and it's in their Hawthorne base, which is basically a bulletproof sock yarn. It's great for gift knitting because it can go in the washer, the dryer, no problem. Hang on. I've got yarn wrapped around my tassel. So this, it's like a double width tape. It's like a mini sock blank, and it just pulls off as you knit and gives you these softer ombre stripes. Yeah, I love that. So typical sock blank, it is a little crinkly because I haven't blocked it. So I'll just put it on the, what is that called? A blocker. Goodness gracious. Put it on the sock blocker just to stretch it out and show you. So I have just turned the heel and I'm working on the gusset decreases. I'm doing my Bucktooth boardwalk pattern, which is quite hard to see in this crinkly yarn, but it'll look great when it blocks out. The purl bumps are kind of, right now they're hitting the stripes perfectly, which is worked out great. Didn't plan it, it worked out. So these are for a friend who has quite small legs. So this is a 56 stitch sock. And this is my first year designing sock patterns. So I'm going to be knitting a lot of my designs for people just because I think it'll be fun for them to have something that I've knit from one of my own patterns. So this yarn isn't available anymore, but it is called Skyline Stripe. So I don't know if you'd ever see this in any D-stashes or if they ever bring it back. It's kind of fun. I'm doing it on a 2.25 millimeter needle. I probably could do it on 2.5 because it is quite a thick sock yarn. But by the time I block this, the 2.25 will work out just fine. So that's another work in progress. Shove it back in my bag. And I picked up a languishing whip. I took it to Newfoundland as part of my, I didn't know how much time I was going to have. We had a lot of driving time. The ferry is 5 hours from home here in Moncton to North Sydney and Cape Breton. We have an electric car, so we had to stop. We stopped twice to charge. Just so we had a full charge going across on the ferry. We didn't have to stop when we got off. So there's lots of knitting time, and my husband loves to drive, so I take advantage of that. So I did take a lot of things with me. I left some things with him that I didn't touch, and leftovers just because I had limited luggage because I was flying home. Long story long. This is being housed in a Bumble Stitches project bag. It's just a nice, about a 2 skein zipper pouch. Bumble Stitches Nicola is now doing floss tube exclusively. She doesn't knit anymore, or doesn't knit very much anymore, and her YouTube presence is only cross stitch. So I feel super lucky to have this. We did a swap several years ago. Edie Tee was hugely popular in the knitting community, and they couldn't get any in England. They didn't have retail outlets or options to order online, I guess. So I purchased a quantity of Edie Tee, and Nicola sent me a bag. Love it. And I just put this little flower enamel pin on it. I'm not quite sure where it came from on the cute little bumblebee zipper pull. So this I showed you, I believe back in episode 1, there's a languishing. It is using 2 skeins of my hand spun. This is a merino nylon that I hand dyed in the blues and purples and teals, totally my jam. And this is a merino silk from Good Vibrations. Now, to be honest, this one, I don't know if you can see, excuse me, this merino silk is quite thin compared to this merino nylon, but I'm just going with it. This is going to be for me. It's, nobody would notice. I'm the only one, I'm sure, who would notice. So this is the Heavenly Peace cowl. I'm doing the double wrap version. So it starts with a provisional cast on, and it's slip stitches and stripes and slip stitches and more slip stitches, and this is where the first repeat ends. So this, if you provisional cast on there, would make a nice close fitting single cowl. I had enough yarn and I wanted to use as much of this hand spun as I could, so I have started to do the second bunch of repeats. So I put a stitch marker in here to show you where I started. So I have done all of this since it has been put away. I didn't look on my Ravelry page, but when I started this, I can't remember. I started it over the winter. It's just knit easily in the round on a, I think it's supposed to be a 16-inch. I think I've used my ChowGoo interchangeable mini twists, and I'm probably more on a 14 between the needle tips that I chose to use. Anyway, I'm almost finished this thick stripe section, and then I'll be moving on to this 1x1 mosaic slip stitch design. So this might be a good one to take to knit night tonight at the brewery. It's kind of dark, and if I wear my contact lenses, like I am now, they're varifocals or multifocal contact lenses, but my close-up visibility still isn't great. So if I drop a stitch or do anything stupid in bad lighting, I can't necessarily see it with my contact lenses, but I'm vain enough that I don't wear my glasses out. For the most part, my glasses stay home. All right, hang on, time for a little, I need a sip, but I also need a little this. Whew, I turned the air conditioning off this morning. That was a mistake because it was cloudy and overcast and raining, and I thought, oh, I don't need the air conditioning on today. Boy, was I wrong. Oh, it's muggy. Okay, I've got one more work in progress to show you. And it's another variation on a sock blank. This is in my Little Bobbin's Christmas Fairy Lights bag because it's a Christmas gift. So sometimes I'll throw my Christmas gifts in Christmas bags because, you know, why not? With these beautiful fairy lights, I was very lucky to grab one of the Fairy Lights kits a few years ago that Little Bobbins did with Hedgerow Yarns and Curious Handmade for the Fairy Lights sock pattern, and one of my favorite seasonal bags. So, sock blanks, I digress. I have fluff on my face, excuse me. This is an unraveled sock blank that has been caked up. So Deborah of Yarn Indulgences, this is a discontinued thing for her. She just had a box of goodies and said, help yourself. And I'm like, ooh, okay. So I started, this is going to be, it's a shorty with a very long foot. So it started here and worked its way down and ended with, we were just starting to get into this little burgundy hit there. And then I've started the second sock cuff, started right from where the first one ended, and I'm working my way down. So this is a new design that's going to be released, and I'll talk about that at designs at the end. So if you're not interested, no worries. This is 75/25 merino nylon, but sock blank, but the dyer has unraveled it and caked it. I'm easy. I'll knit it either way, but I do love knitting from a sock blank, but this works for me too. I love the gradient effect that you get. Yeah. So I'm heading into more of the blacks and greens, and I don't know how far I'll get out of this before I run out of sock. I will have yarn left over by the time I finish this sock. So that's another pair for Christmas that I'm just working my way on. Okay, that's it for whips. I'm just going to pause. Okay, so I've reloaded my pile beside me here, but before I move on to dream knitting, I thought I would show you my finished hand spun. I showed you this on the bobbin last time, I do believe. I have finished it and washed it. I haven't measured it yet. I have a kind of electronic yarn counter. I have 3 skeins. This is the 3rd skein. I need to do that. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. Maybe this will inspire me. So I haven't measured it for yardage or tagged it yet. But it is from Fiber Imp. It is a merino bamboo nylon blend called Monkeying Around. And oh boy, I love that. That is totally my jam. So it's 150 grams, so I'll probably get a pair of socks out of it, and then we'll see whether it goes into the yoke of a sweater or becomes a cowl or something. But where it is a sock blend, I will definitely knit socks for myself out of it. It's probably coming up as a heavy fingering to sport weight. I don't know if I'll get away with it on a 2.25 millimeter needle or whether it's going to need to be a 2.5, but it's very pretty. So other than the weighing and the measuring, it's done. So instantly, I had mentioned I was itching to get that one off the wheel because I wanted to start the Corriedale spin. Sweet skein of mine, I had 2 braids of Corriedale that I'm going to ply together. It's trying to run away. So I have finished the singles on the first braid. I will put a picture up here of some to show you what it looked like originally. So I had 2 braids. This was the darker kind of pinks and grays. Boy, is it pretty. It was a fun spin. I'm not sure if I've spun with Corriedale before, but I did really enjoy it. So this is, I'm spinning this on my electric eel wheel 6 with the lovely big bobbins. I'm still practicing on my singles on this one. I usually like to spin my singles on my little electric eel wheel nano and then just ply on this one, but I did want to do the singles on this one because I was able to get the full 50 gram braid on to this bobbin. So I have started the second bobbin. I didn't bring it in today, but I did bring you the fluff to show you. And I do have a picture of what the fluff is looking like on the wheel that I'll put in over here. But this is the fluff. So it's slightly lighter. It's got more of the pale pinks and kind of beige khaki green. So my plan is to ply these together to make 100 grams. So that's where I'm at on my spinning. It's lovely and relaxing. I try to give myself 15-20 minutes of spinning a day if I can, or a few times a week. I just find it so soothing. Knitting, I love. Knitting will always be my first passion, but there's something about sitting and feeling this fiber running through my fingers and seeing the singles load up on the wheel. It's just lovely. Can't recommend it enough. So that's it for spinning. And I've kind of scheduled in dream knitting next. I'm going to do the giveaway after dream knitting, and then I've got some acquisitions. Nothing big, nothing overly dramatic for acquisitions, but I do have a few bits and pieces that I picked up. And then I'm going to do a little design chat at the end. So if at any point, once the giveaway has been announced, if you are done and don't want to see the acquisitions or the designs, you can carry on with your day. But first, dream knitting. So of course, dream knitting had to bring Marjorie back into play. My lovely Eldenwood Crafts project bag that is housing my orbits. I'm gratuitously showing this to you again. I haven't touched it since the last time I showed you, but oh, she's so pretty. Sophie on Instagram, Sophie Knits and Things. I'll link her below. She put a picture on her Instagram last night. She just finished the body of her orbits, and that's why I'm looking at mine going, oh. But I just need it to cool down just a little bit more. But once Ziva is done, this is going back into rotation. I had split for the sleeves I showed you last time. I'm only about an inch, just an inch or so past sleeve separation. Yeah, so that's on my hurry up and get done list because, oh dear, A, the knit is really nice, and B, I do want the garment. The other thing I was thinking of for dream knitting, back in the spring, I went to Knitting Loft, bucket list yarn store. If you're flying in to Pearson and have time, well, the security lineups now, this is August 22, the security lineups in Pearson are tragic. If you have time, it's not that far from the airport. I had to rent a car for that trip, so I zipped into the Knitting Loft and picked up, I did some damage. But it was fun to try and see yarns I've never seen before in person. So I picked up some Solia that I've heard so much about. This is a sport weight Norwegian yarn. And I had bought it to do a skein deer design, the housed cardigan, and I'll put that picture up here. But then this is hand spun. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I feel that it's really muddied, but it's kind of a sagey green, but it's got some pinks and yellows in there. I kind of thought, you know, does that work for a colorwork yoke? The Solia is turning up a little pinker than it is. It's not quite that fuchsia. It is a nice, rich, dark pink. But I'm not sure if that's going to be something color work or just on its own for the housed cardigan. I only picked up 3 skeins of it because I bought it for the housed cardigan from Skein Deer, and it's a cropped looser gauge cardi. But then I saw this combo and thought, so I might be looking at a sport weight color work, but I only have 3 skeins, so it's not going to be, we'll see. It's percolating. It's percolating. Yeah, I have a few things. As I said last time, I'd really like to do something with mohair. I have some, hang on. I have some Holst Coast and their Titicaca that I held double for an Isabel Kramer design back in 2020, and I ended up ripping it out. It was a test knit. I had lost quite a bit of weight, and it was huge, and I wanted to repurpose the yarn. So it's a really pretty purple. I'll put a picture. I might put a picture of the sweater. I ripped it out. I've reclaimed the yarn, and it comes up to a sport weight. So I might do another Isabel Kramer design instead, or I might re-knit that one. Don't know. That's also kind of high on my list. I didn't grab the yarn out of my stash. Sorry about that. Trying to see if it's easily grabbable. I don't see it. All right. The rest of my dream knitting is kind of Christmas gift themed. I've got a couple of yarns, DK weight yarns pulled. This is Yarn Indulgences in her Merino DK, Superwash DK blend in the colorway Sugar Plum. I've had this caked up for ages. Speaking of Isabel Kramer, I did an Isabel Kramer shrug cardigan, put the yarn in front of my face. I'll put a picture up here. I forget what it's called. This was leftovers. I thought this would be a great cowl just to chuck in my gift stash in case I need something for somebody that fit doesn't matter. The joy of a cowl. It'll fit everybody. So I've got a couple nice patterns in my library. So this is kind of out if I'm looking for a cast on. And I showed you this back in episode 1, this bad boy. This is some hand spun that I'd like to do a cowl in. And I don't know if I'll keep it, to be honest. It's not really my jam color-wise, but maybe, anyway, I've lost the tag off of it. I think I'm going to have to run this through my yarn counter because, again, I've got no idea what the yardage is because the tag has come off somewhere in the mess that is my hand spun stash. But it's so vibrant and amazing. So it looks to me like a DK, maybe light worsted, but perfect for a cowl. So that's on the radar. And then it's socks, 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 socks. I picked up this Bergère de France Imprim Beige. It was all the rage a few years ago. I picked up on Facebook Marketplace. Somebody was getting rid of a whole bunch of sock yarns, mostly Regia and Opal, but this little nugget was hiding in there. So this would be a perfect pair of shorties for my daughter, who is very neutral. She's a beige, you know, rosy pink. She likes the neutrals, where I tend to like a bit more of a pop of color. Makes her a bit twitchy. This would be a perfect pair of shorties for her. I may put some burgundy or some pink heels and toes in, or I may just do them as they are. So that's on the radar. When I need something mindless. Speaking of Regia, I've got this great stealth striping in the blues and teals, kind of appley greens. Probably for my mum. She likes these wackadoo socks. She likes to wear her Birks through the winter with socks on. So I do a split toe for her. I'll put a picture in here of some of the ones I've done for her, or the most recent one. So I end up doing a big toe and then a toe cap that fits the rest of the 4 toes in so she can wear her Birkenstocks with them. I hate doing them because it's a faff. It's the same reason why I don't want to knit gloves, having to knit that big toe separately. But she's my mum. Not many people I would do it for. And I also found this navy in my stash. I thought it'd be fun for heels, toes. We'll see. So that's, just dropping these in the front now because they're not going to make a noise. The other thing I've got is I have already knit a pair of the Fairy Lights. This is West Yorkshire Spinners in an older Christmas color of theirs called Fairy Lights, as we've already discovered from my little bobbins bag. I'm a fan of Fairy Lights. And this has the turquoise, so I thought I'd do some turquoise heels, toes, and cuffs. I've already knit a pair of socks. I'll put them there. Did I gift them to my daughter last year? Because she also likes a Fairy Light. Even though the colors are not her jam, she can do it for socks. These will be for me, unless I've kept the last pair. And then if not, I can't remember. Is that terrible? I know I've knit it because look. It's only about 40% of a skein. But these two will make a pair of socks for somebody for Christmas. They'll go in one of my Christmas bags and I will do something with them. Maybe Freddie Beach, because like I said, I'm trying to knit a lot of my sock designs for my gifts this year for people, just to make them a little more special. Okay. That's what I had pulled for dream knitting. So I'm going to press pause again, and now I have to go figure out how to do a draw through YouTube with the URL. Wish me luck. I'm back. I figured it out. So, we are doing the giveaway draw for this Polka Dot Creek sock set and one of my patterns. Thank you to everybody who entered. We had 228 unique comments. So I have done the fancy dancy YouTube comment generator, and the winner is, I'll put it here, YouTube name is Morning Thaw. So left a lovely comment about menopause, hot flashes. Ugh, I feel ya. Please message me at the email below with your shipping information and your Ravelry name, and I will send you the Booktouche Boardwalk socks. Was the winner. We've had a lot of Booktouche Boardwalk sock talk today. So that was the pattern that was picked to knit with this great sock set. And honestly, with the 2 minis, I think you get 2 pairs of socks out of this easily. So this will be vacuum sealed and sent your way. Congratulations. And thanks everybody for taking part in my first giveaway. All right. Sorry, threw that over there. Next thing, the day of or the day after I recorded last, I went to La Violette and there was a little bit of video footage in there, but I didn't show you what I bought. So I was going to buy a sweater quantity of the Sadness Tin Line. It's their linen, Sadness's linen blend in their fingering, their thin one. Manon didn't have quite enough of the color I was looking for, so she's going to order that in for me. It's no rush. I'm not going to get to it till next year, but I wanted to support my lovely local yarn store. So I had to pick up some other things anyway. I wanted some of these metal sock blockers. My medium sock blockers, I've got a large and a small from Knit Picks, and I've got a small from another brand. Or sorry, I've got a medium. The red ones back there, you can kind of see them, are from another brand. And the mediums are too small. They are the same as the small blue plastic ones from Knit Picks. So I wanted to get a true... Wah! Take out an eye with a sock blocker. I wanted to get a true medium sock blocker, and I wanted to try these metal ones. They are Brita spun. And yeah, I just thought with the hangy bits, it would be super handy anyway for taking pictures without having to flat lay all the time. Anyway, so yeah, I picked up a set of these, and then I had a peruse through the sock yarn section, which I always love to do because there's never enough sock yarn apparently in my life, and I do like a little good commercial sock yarn. So this is Lang Super Socks in this fun kind of black rainbow. So I always am on the lookout for man sock colors. I've got lots of pretty things, but sometimes interesting man sock colors that I'm actually going to want to knit are rare. I thought this one was super fun. My son is very knit-worthy, and he's pretty open as far as colors go. So I thought this would be a pair for him for next year. I've knit with that Lang sock yarn, Super Socks, before and love it. This one is new to me though. This is a... Oh, it's got a fun reflection happening there. So... Wacky Sacky? It is from Universal Yarns, called, the colorway is Wild Woods. And it's gonna knit up like that, which I thought was super fun. So this could skew male or female for my crowd. So I just thought it was a fun brand of sock yarn I have never tried. So I picked up a skein of that. So that was it for my La Violette. I hit Amazon. I was looking for a new stitch dictionary, and I saw this. I got this used. So it's Japanese stitches. And what I love about this brand of stitch dictionary is it's the stitch patterns are knit flat and in the round. So they're charted for flat and in the round, which is super helpful with me for socks. So I said, I got this used off Amazon. It's got a couple little bumps, but it's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I was happy to, so that's not showing it off very well at all. My other one from the same author is spiral bound, which is super helpful, but this kind of stays open pretty nicely as well. But yeah, so a Japanese stitch dictionary. Thought it would be fun to add to my library. And yeah, so that's it for acquisitions right now. PEI Yarn Festival is coming up in a few weeks, end of September 24th and 5th. I will be there with Yarn Indulgences as a booth buddy. We are staying in the Delta. We've got a room in the Delta. Can't wait. They've got knitting lounges, so I'm anticipating lots of lobby wine drinking and some knitting and chatting. Can't wait. Really looking forward to it. If you are going, I'll probably podcast again before we go. Yeah, I will. But I'll say it anyway. If you're going, make sure you come and say hi if you see me. I'm looking forward to meeting lots of new friends as well as meeting up with current friends. There's never enough knitty friends. All right, so all I have left is a little design chat. And there'll be some videos and pictures at the end of what I've been up to since I've seen you last. I can't remember what I've recorded. I can't remember what I've filmed or taken pictures of. So it'll be a surprise to me too as I'm going through my camera roll to see what I've recorded. So today is Tuesday, the 23rd of August. I released a new sock pattern last week when I got home from Newfoundland. It was a little bit delayed because I had to go away unexpectedly, like I said. I'm going to put a picture up here. I don't have the garden fence socks with me. They are with Deborah. They went to Tatamagouche last weekend for the yarn festival there. And they'll be going with us to PEI for the yarn festival there. Oh, and Deborah is going to be at Gagetown in New Brunswick. If you're in New Brunswick, the Gagetown Fiber Festival is coming up on September 10th. I'm working. I will not be able to go. I will be there in spirit. I will have socks there for you to have a look at if you're there. So garden fence socks, they have been released. I knit them out of this beautiful BFL sock base, 80/20 sock base from Yarn Indulgences. If you buy a skein of this yarn from her, you are going to get a Ravelry download code to have the pattern of the garden fence socks for free. And Deborah does the backpack sealing. So if you just wanted a skein or two, it can be sent as letter mail. I think it's $5 for shipping that way. Great, great, great. I love yarn jerky. So this is Reflections colorway, and I knit my garden fence socks out of it. It's going to be up here. So this pattern has been released. It's on Ravelry and Love Crafts. It's $5 Canadian. If you are seeing this before the end of day, Thursday, August 25th, I'm donating all of the proceeds for this pattern to a Canadian charity called True North Aid, and they are supporting Indigenous remote communities in Canada. So all funds from that, every $5, will be going right to them on the 26th when I do some math. So if you're seeing this before the 25th, please feel free to grab your copy and I will be donating all of the money. So the other thing coming up, I've got another design that I was commissioned to do, and I've gotten approval to be able to talk to you about it. I'm going to include a little bit of video footage here. So I put a little, I hope, a video or a picture montage of the, from Gingersnap, that Kim and Colin from Gingersnap here in Canada, in Alberta, they asked me to do a custom design in one of the colorways from their Tattooed Blossoms collection. This will be launching at Knit City, Vancouver at the end of October, I do believe. So I was thrilled to be asked to start with, and this is the colorway. It is Ravish on their Lush sock. So their collection is called Tattooed Blossoms. My socks are called Ravishing Socks, and they will be exclusive to Kim and Colin until after Knit City, Vancouver, and then I will be releasing them after that. So if you're lucky enough to be on the West Coast and going to Knit City, Vancouver, totally check out their booth. They always have an amazing booth with everything from, you know, knitter sweatshirts and loads of bags. Kim and Colin were inspired by the fabric that you will have seen in that photo montage of the blossoms on the fabric, and this is my sock. So I was given the second darkest color in the range, which made me a little nervous to start with, but boy, is she ever sexy. So it's a twisted rib detail with a fun little blossom motif, which just moves the twisted stitches a little bit. So yeah, this is the current sock design. We're just finishing up testing. I'm going to be I wanted to show you this because I'm sending these socks out to Alberta to Kim and Colin any day now. They need to have it, so they've got it for all of their marketing. There are 2. I love them, but I'm going to be saying goodbye to them. They are going to be going out to the prairies and then off out to British Columbia for Knit City, Vancouver. So these are the Ravishing socks. I will keep you up to date on that and let you know what's going on with Kim and Colin as far as availability through them for the yarn. And the bag, the fabric is so pretty. Yeah, and then I do have, this is leftovers. So I might just knit myself up a single sock so I have one, just for memory's sake. Just for memory's sake. And then there's another little secret sauce project happening, and I've got to decide if I'm doing anything else for the fall. Yeah, I've got a Mrs. Maisel colorway I picked up from Annie Perrin at Knit City, Montreal, that I'd love to do. I have an idea. I just don't know when I'm going to have time to do that with all of the other stuff going on. This is a fun thing for me. I'm never going to be a full-time designer. This is a fun way for me to meet new members of our knitting community, make some money for charity primarily, and if you know, and make some give myself a bit more yarn budget, I guess, with the monies that are that I don't donate, because I just donate for the first week, and that helps pay for the fees, because I get dinged by PayPal, and I'm quite happy to pay that, and I pay Ravelry as well for the service for having. So there are other fees that I am donating as the donating happens, and so any patterns that are sold after those donation dates are kind of getting stockpiled, and I'm using those to pay the fees as they come up. That's probably more information than you needed to know. So I'm looking at the mess around me. I think I have told you everything that I wanted to. I have no idea how long this is. I've kind of chopped and cut a couple of times just to have a little, well, I had to do my YouTube, and I've had to have a cooling break. Whew. And yeah, thanks for watching. I appreciate all of the comments. It's nice to be chatting with you. The same people are commenting on every episode, and it's super nice. I'm looking forward to meeting some of you in person at yarn events as we go through that. And stay safe, everybody. Happy knitting. Don't forget to enjoy a little, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.